So it's a great skill to have, skills in body language for business, because for me it's all about dealing with people. So maybe you're a manager, or maybe in sales or marketing, or whatever aspect, it's all about dealing with other people. And by being able to build rapport and have an understanding of how that person thinks and operates, I think that's invaluable to really letting them know that you are being open and honest and you're there to help. So in my work, as I'm also an ex-police officer, it's about looking for lots of different visual clues, not so much in terms of if that person's been deceptive or lying, but also are we looking, we're actually trying to establish what emotion this person's in. So if you're in the boardroom and you're presenting, it's really, really, interesting. It's also vital to be aware of other people in the meeting. Are they being truthful with you? Are they really telling you what they think? Or can you see one or two different clues in their face and body language which allow you to think, there's something a little bit incongruent here? And that's the whole point of this, is what I do, is teach you guys to be able to get that thing what we call sensory acuity. So it's about really zeroing in on people's behaviour. Some of the keys for interpreting body language are establishing a baseline with somebody. So for example, when we're interacting with them, where do they look for information with their eyes? So, there's a correlation between people that are very visual, more people that are more tactile and touchy-feely. So if I'm selling you a pen, and I know that you're tactile, if I don't let you play with that pen, you're not really going to make sense of the information. So that's the first thing, is being aware of how that person's operating in terms of being visual, being more auditory, more touchy-feely. Some people, don't really like to shake hands. Some people like to keep the distance. So from the outset, it's about finding out what their boundaries are and how they're thinking in a given situation, so you can, adopt your behaviour accordingly. Be aware when you speak to people in terms of, are they matching and mirroring you? Where do they look with their eyes? So if people tend to look up and left, and you want to ask them if they understand something, rather than just asking a question, you could say, does that look all right? Do you see what I mean? Because then you're matching the language to the way that person's perceiving. Likewise, if they're more kind of kinesthetic, you're saying, does that feel okay to you? Be aware of the way that blood affects the face, the physiology, the neurology, and also in terms of distance. So people will want to get away from the threat quite quickly. So if the audience were to take away one thing from my session today, it would be that we cannot not communicate, that even if you're standing there saying nothing and doing nothing, you are still communicating a message. So be aware of that fact, and just set an intention today or tomorrow, even if people used one thing that I presented today, they'll notice some dramatic increases in their sort of productivity. The amount of leakage that a body will give off is linked to something called detection apprehension. So basically, if I steal your lunch out of the fridge at work, okay, the consequences of that are not massive. You're not going to ring the police, presumably. So if you say, did you steal my sandwich, Darren? I'm going to go, no. And there'll be a very minimal leakage because my brain doesn't perceive a consequence. Whereas if someone's falsified a report, or they've stole something, or been involved in fraud, or away from work if they've been cheating, things like that, the brain is always thinking about the consequences of being discovered. So if someone feels they're just about to be caught, the brain goes into a situation called cognitive overload, and then goes into detection apprehension, so the brain perceives it's about to be caught. So all those other things that I've spoken about in terms of posture, eye accessing cues, the way that we speak, in a split second they all go haywire.